Bitcoin is behaving more like a risk-on asset. It has played the risk-off role at different times during the European sovereign debt crisis, during our regional bank crisis. But right now, it's risk-on. It is climbing another wall of worry, and that is the 4-year cycle. We think the 4-year cycle is going to be disrupted, and what I mean by that is Bitcoin regularly dropped 75 to 90% in its early days. The volatility is going down. It's down about 30 some odd percent. And I think there's a fear of the 4-year cycle. We think that the move by institutions into this new asset class is going to prevent much more of a decline. We may have seen the low a couple of weeks ago.
I think MicroStrategy has a complicated balance sheet, and so I've never owned it. I think BMNR from a Ethereum treasury, they have a clean balance sheet. Obviously, they're issuing shares, but they're not doing preferreds or converts. And so I think that this is an opportunity. I bought more Ethereum last week. I just think, especially with Ethereum, which is down quite a bit off its highs, this is when you add to these positions, right? You're supposed to buy low, sell high. Most people feel comfortable buying crypto at the all-time highs, not when there's actually an event occurring. Whether MSCI fleshes out, I have no idea.
You're telling people to buy strategy?
No, Ethereum. I was like, I don't understand. MicroStrategy's balance sheet is way too complicated for me to parse through. I've decided to play it with Ethereum and IBIT.
Okay, I didn't go to you on it because I didn't know what else there is to say on it.
No, I mean, what else is there to say? Let me give you something else. There's 15 buys on the stock. There's 3 holds. There's 1 sell. The 12-month price target for this stock that trades 182 right now is $473. That's ridiculous.
So are you in the camp of 4-year cycle still on cue, no real change in how these cycles have gone in the past, or do you think that has shifted some?
My base case is the 4-year cycle is no longer really relevant. It arguably hasn't been relevant for the past cycle either. Early on, whenever the supply halving happened, that was a very big change to Bitcoin's kind of new supply coming out. Whereas now, the annual supply inflation rate is well under 1%. It's a lower supply growth than gold as on a percentage basis. And so I don't really view that as the main driver anymore. I think there's potentially some selling around the psychology of the 4-year cycle.
Is this a time to DCA? Bitcoin trading literally as we recorded around 90K. Is this a DCA time for Bitcoin?
I think so. And almost by definition, if someone's dollar cost averaging, it's always the right time. That's the kind of point is you're not really trying to time the market. I think it's more of a question of, is it time to accelerate the DCA a little bit? Generally speaking, when the sentiment comes off, we've seen the Bitcoin Treasury MNAVs disappear. We've seen some of the metrics I look at, like market value compared to on-chain cost bases, that is compressed quite significantly. Makes it a lot more attractive. Overall enthusiasm is elsewhere. It's on AI, it's on gold. Public sentiment around Bitcoin is pretty low. I generally think this is the time to lean into it now. But I think as a larger slice of a portfolio, I think it makes sense to buy the fear rather than kind of buy the enthusiasm.
Don't quote me on this, but I think that force will be quite strong. So that force may be strong enough to offset the 4-year cycle. Who knows? Yeah.
So you're saying next year bull market?
We may be seeing a super cycle. Wow. So we'll see. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
The SEC is closing another of its Biden-era crypto and Web3 investigations. Real-world asset tokenization platform Ondo Finance announced today that the agency ended its probe into the firm without any charges. Now, this move could signal a more welcome attitude toward tokenized assets in U.S. markets. In Ondo's announcement on X, the company calls the outcome an important milestone for the entire tokenization ecosystem. Ondo also said that it plans to hold a summit in February, laying out what's next for the company.
Let's get the opening bell and the CNBC real-time exchange. At the big board, it's Crypto SPAC 21 Capital, celebrating a listing. CEO Jack Mallows will join us on Money Movers.